I paid for her entire wedding, every flower, every photo, every chair. 3 days before the ceremony, I overheard her calling me a walking wallet and saying I should have been given up for adoption. I used to think being quiet was the same as being good. That if you kept your head down, got your grades right, said thank you, didn't ask for much, people would see that, respect it, maybe even love you for it, but they don't. They just take it as permission to lean on you harder. I was 10 when my parents died. Car accident. No warning. 1 minute I was in school, and the next I was in my aunt's kitchen, holding a paper cup of juice I didn't want, while she explained that I'd be staying for a while. I never left. The government sent money every month, for my care. No one ever said it out loud, but I felt it. That I was an obligation that came with a budget. They weren't cruel, not really. No yelling. No hitting. But they also never pretended I was theirs. It was little things. Being left out of Christmas cards. Getting second-hand clothes when my cousins got new ones. My cousin James once asked me, completely serious, if being adopted meant I'd grow up to be a villain like in movies. I didn't complain. I just studied. I kept my room clean. I offered to help. When I turned 16 and got a job shelving books at the library, I used the money to buy groceries sometimes. My aunt said I was thoughtful. My uncle said, see, now he's useful. When I got into university, full ride, I cried in the hallway. No one else did. James said, well, you're boring enough for college, and laughed. I still moved back home after graduation. Rent was too high and I figured I owed them. For everything. For taking me in. For feeding me. For not making me feel completely unwanted, just mostly. I landed a job 6 weeks after graduation. Entry level, but good. Benefits. Steady hours. I started paying for things, water bills, repairs, the occasional gift. A new TV when the old one fried. A couch I knew they couldn't afford. I wasn't trying to buy their love. I just thought, maybe if I kept showing up, they'd see me. James never finished school. Said it was all bullshit. Went to work with his dad at the repair garage. Took more sick days than shifts. Mia, my cousin, got into some college program, dropped out after a year. Partying, late nights, the usual spiral. She got pregnant last spring. When the wedding got announced, the family group chat exploded. Plans. Excitement. Talk about legacy. But money was tight. Always is. So my aunt suggested we all sit down, just talk things through. That should have been the first red flag. Everyone was already seated when I got there. There were coffee mugs and folders. It felt like a board meeting. My uncle said, this is a once-in-a-lifetime moment for Mia. We have to do it right. Someone mentioned loans. Credit cards. But if we had just a little help, my aunt looked at me like she was apologizing before I'd even said anything. I said I could pitch in. That I'd cover part of the wedding as my gift. Mia smiled like a cartoon. James slapped my back like we were buddies. A week later, I got a spreadsheet emailed to me, breakdown of costs. The part I was covering turned out to be everything. Venue deposit. Catering. Photographer. DJ. Even the rental for the chairs. Total. Almost 12 grand. My name was already listed as confirmed payer on 3 invoices. Still, I paid. Quietly. Because maybe this would be the moment they finally said, he's one of us. Then, 3 days before the wedding, I was upstairs taping together decorations. They'd asked me to bring them from work, and I went down to grab scissors from the kitchen. That's when I heard it. Mia. On the phone. Laughing. Her voice echoing off the hallway tile. No, seriously, we played him perfectly. He thinks he's doing this out of love or whatever. But, like, come on. It's about time he paid rent for all those years. Pause. No, my mom totally set up that family meeting just to push him. We even had James do the sad voice thing. Worked like a charm. She laughed again. Loud. Confident. Safe in the knowledge that no one was listening. Except I was. And in that moment, standing there with a pair of scissors and a lump in my throat, I realized I wasn't part of the family. I was the wallet they passed around in secret. I don't remember walking back upstairs. I just remember staring at a box of ribbons, hands shaking, and thinking about how many times I'd picked up takeout for that girl because she was too tired to cook. About how she cried on my shoulder the night she found out she was pregnant. How I held her hand in that clinic while she stared at the screen and whispered, "It's real." I stayed quiet. Didn't confront her. Didn't storm out. Just stopped. Something in me turned off like a flipped breaker. That night, I packed a duffel bag. Next morning I texted my aunt. "Hey, something came up. I won't make it to the wedding. Hope it's a beautiful day." No explanation. No apology. She didn't respond. Neither did Mia. Or James. I spent the weekend at a cheap motel an hour outside town, phone on airplane mode. I watched 3 seasons of some show I didn't care about and sat in the shower until the water ran cold. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel guilty. Just. On Monday, I went home. No one said anything. They'd thrown the wedding without me. I saw some blurry pictures on Facebook. Mia in white. James holding a plastic cup. Everyone pretending everything went exactly as planned. That night, I opened my laptop. I had copies of every invoice, every receipt, every transfer. I didn't do anything with them. I just looked. And I made peace with it. I wasn't going to send dramatic emails. I wasn't going to demand they pay me back. That would have meant I still wanted something from them. I didn't. Not anymore. A few days later, I handed my uncle a rent check. For real this time. He raised an eyebrow. "You don't have to," I cut him off. "I do. This makes it clean." He looked uncomfortable. But he took it. And that was the last real conversation we had. I started eating dinners alone. Spent weekends out. I stopped fixing things around the house. Let the leaky faucet leak. Let the busted light bulb stay busted. I wasn't angry. Just done. And then, 2 weeks after the wedding, I got a message. A name I hadn't seen in years. Nika. We were in university together. She was Mia's friend back then, but always nice to me. Didn't treat me like a background character. She was at the wedding. Her message was short. "Hey. I was at the wedding. I don't know exactly what happened, but I could tell something did. If you ever want to talk, I'm around." I stared at it for a long time. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. And finally, I wrote, "Thanks. I might take you up on that." We met at a coffee place downtown. Neutral territory. Public. Safe. I didn't know what I was expecting, maybe small talk, maybe nothing at all, but Nika got straight to it. "So, they weren't thrilled," she said, stirring her latte with slow, deliberate circles. "About you not showing up?" I nodded. "Figured. No, I mean, everything kind of fell apart." That made me pause. "What do you mean?" She sighed. "Okay. You were supposed to handle the florist, right?" I nodded. "They canceled the order the morning of. Said they hadn't received final payment. And the cake? Showed up 2 hours late, wrong design. Someone forgot to confirm the booking." She looked at me carefully. "They said you were supposed to do it." I was. I didn't even have to fake the confusion. "Same with the videographer," she continued. "They didn't have your info." Mia freaked out. Like, full meltdown in a barn full of folding chairs. She screamed at the DJ, threw a water bottle at your uncle, and told her new husband, and I quote, that everyone in this family is fucking useless. She paused. Then she started crying about the rings. I blinked. What rings? Apparently someone forgot to bring them. James blamed your aunt. Your aunt blamed James. Mia blamed everyone. I leaned back. I didn't say anything. Nika looked at me like she was afraid she'd said too much. Sorry. I just thought you should know. No. Thank you. It was weird. I should have felt vindicated. I didn't. Just tired. Like I dodged a bullet, but only after it grazed something deep. Nika hesitated, then added, "Anne," she said something. At the end of the night. After the wine and the pictures and the drama. We were sitting near the fire pit, and she was ranting. You know, classic, my day is ruined, type stuff. And then she said, she trailed off. Say it. I said it calmly, but my fingers curled around my cup a little too tight. She said, Nika began slowly, that you should have never been let into their home in the first place. That they should have put you in foster care. That you were always just someone else's responsibility, and everyone was too nice to admit it. I didn't move. I didn't flinch. But something inside me folded inward. She didn't mean it, probably, Nika added quickly. She was angry. Drunk. Embarrassed. It's fine. It's not. No, but it's familiar. I smiled, and it felt like paper tearing. We sat in silence for a minute. The noise of the cafe filled the spaces between us, cups clinking, milk frothing, someone laughing too loud in the corner. I looked out the window. It was starting to rain. You know what the messed up part is? I said eventually. I wasn't even mad about the money. I think I just wanted someone to look at me and say, we're glad you're here. That's it. That's all I ever wanted. Nika didn't say anything. Looked out the window. It was starting to rain. You know what the messed up part is? I said eventually. I wasn't even mad about the money. I think I just wanted someone to look at me and say, we're glad you're here. That's it. That's all I ever wanted. Nika was quiet for a second, then she looked at me, serious, like she'd been holding something back. I know I told you some awful things, she said. I was shocked too. At everything. But when she said that stuff about foster care, I got up and left. I couldn't stay there after that. I'm telling you all this for one reason, so you understand the kind of people you're dealing with. Please, promise me you'll keep your distance. Be careful with them. You didn't deserve that. No one does. I didn't respond to Nika right away. I just nodded, slow and careful, like if I moved too fast I might drop something inside me I couldn't put back together. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling for hours, no music, no phone, just the echo of her voice in my head. You didn't deserve that. No one does. The words felt foreign. Not because they were untrue, but because I'd never heard them directed at me. Not from someone who meant it. The next morning I packed. No drama. Just 3 duffel bags, clothes, laptop, charger, the old framed photo of my parents that somehow survived every move. I left the rent check for the next month on the kitchen table with a sticky note that said, final. That was it. I moved into a small 1-bedroom on the edge of the city. Nothing fancy. The windows stuck sometimes. The heater clanged when it kicked in. But it was mine. First night there, I didn't even unpack. Just laid on the floor in the dark and let the silence wrap around me. It didn't feel lonely. It felt earned. I changed my number a week later. Blocked the group chat. Set up new emails. I didn't make a big statement about it. No closure speech. Just disappeared from their radar. They didn't reach out. Or maybe they did and the messages never came through. Either way, it was quiet. I liked it. Nika and I kept talking. Nothing heavy. Memes. Random thoughts. She sent me a photo of a coffee mug shaped like a crying emoji and said, "This is your vibe." I sent her a video of a raccoon stealing cat food and said, "No. This is my vibe." It was easy. Light. Something in me started to thaw. I found a therapist. She asked me what I wanted to work on, and I said, I want to stop apologizing for being in the room. She nodded. Wrote something down. We've been working on that. The wedding photos eventually showed up on social media. I didn't look. Not really. Just scrolled past them like old news I didn't live through. Mia looked tense in most of them. James was drunk in all of them. My name wasn't tagged in anything. That, somehow, felt like the cleanest part. One night, months later, I got a message from Nika. Just one line. I'm proud of you, you know. I stared at it for a long time. Then typed and deleted about 6 different replies. Eventually I just sent, thanks. Still figuring it out. She responded, good. That means you're doing it right. I didn't come from a good family. But I didn't leave empty-handed either. I took the lesson. I took the dignity they never handed me, and I built something small, something quiet, and something mine. And for the first time in my life, no one was asking me to give it away. You don't really notice you're being used until you stop moving. And the thing is, I never stopped. I just kept showing up. Fixing. Carrying. Paying. Like it was some kind of debt I owed for being born first. My name's David. I'm 30. I live alone in a one-bedroom rental 2 hours from where I grew up. I work freelance, small jobs, odd repairs. Drywall, gutters, porch steps. I've got a dented red pickup and 2 toolboxes I inherited from a guy I barely knew who used to fix cars behind a gas station. I'm not poor, but I'm not stacking cash either. I make enough to live, keep the truck running, buy groceries that don't expire in 3 days. And I'm proud of that. I didn't go to college. I didn't inherit shit. I just made myself useful. My mom lives in a small town that always smells like wet trees and disappointment. She's a lot. Always has been. Crystals on the windowsill, expired herbal teas in the pantry, energy readings printed on the fridge next to overdue bills. She's the kind of woman who swears her anxiety comes from Mercury being in retrograde but won't take her blood pressure pills because they mess with her aura. She raised me and my little brother, Eli. Dad left when I was 11. He didn't say goodbye. Just one day there, next day gone. I hated him for a long time. Thought he was weak. Thought he abandoned us. But around 25, I started remembering things differently. The yelling. The way she twisted everything. The constant guilt trips and storms over nothing. And I started thinking, maybe he didn't run away. Maybe he escaped. But still, she was my mom. She kept us clothed, fed, mostly. She cried when I graduated high school. She called me her rock. So I stayed close. I visited when I could. Helped with bills when I had extra. Fixed things around the house. Nothing major. Just little stuff. A clogged sink. A squeaky door. A new faucet when she dropped a candle into the old one and melted part of the handle. Always an accident. Always just a quick fix. Then came the phone calls. My car won't start, honey. Can you come look? Or, I dropped my phone in the toilet again, I know, I'm a mess. I drove out. I paid for repairs. I bought a new phone. A nice one, too. She said she needed it for her astrological Zoom class. I didn't ask questions. Eli. He never helped. He worked part-time at a strip mall vape shop and spent the rest of his time locked in his room playing League of Legends and probably doing God knows what else with his browser history. He once told me he didn't believe in traditional work structures. That was after he got fired from a job that required him to literally just hand people hot dogs at a concession stand. But somehow, when Mom needed something, it was always, we should talk to David. And Eli would jump in with, yeah, he's got money, he'll understand. That was the phrase. He'll understand. And I did. Until I didn't. It was a Tuesday when I drove out just to visit. No broken appliance, no emergency, just a quiet day off and the guilt that I hadn't checked in for a while. I brought groceries. I even grabbed that overpriced tea brand she liked. She hugged me like she always did, arms tight, voice high, too much perfume. Said thank you, said I looked tired, said Eli was in his room, working through some things. The usual. Then I noticed the phone. The one I'd bought her 2 months ago, top tier, big screen, nice case. Gone. In its place was some battered knockoff Samsung with a cracked back and screen smudged like a pawn shop reject. What happened to your phone? I asked. She looked up from the sink, blinked, said, oh, that. I traded it. Didn't like the energy. I stared. You traded a $900 phone for a brick. She smiled. It's just a phone, honey. Don't be dramatic. I walked into the kitchen and opened the dishwasher. Except there wasn't one. Not the one I paid for 6 months ago. Not any. Just an empty space with a dish rack sitting in it like it had always been that way. I didn't say anything. Just stood there while something cold and sharp clicked into place in my gut. I turned around. Where's the dishwasher? She hesitated. It broke. Eli tried to fix it. I think we got rid of it. You think? Don't be so intense, David. You're acting like this is a court hearing. And that's when I realized it. None of it had ever been for me. Not the thanks. Not the hugs. Not the tears. It was all a soft little trap. A constant low hum of guilt wrapped in family. And I'd been paying for the privilege of being useful. I didn't say anything at first. Just walked out of the kitchen, past the crystals on the windowsill, past the dream catcher with the broken hoop, past Eli's closed door where I could hear some muted commentator voice talking about mid-lane dominance. I sat on the couch, stared at the dusty TV, and let the weight of it settle on my chest. She sold the phone. Got rid of the dishwasher. Lied about both. And for what? So she could keep playing make-believe while I stretched my budget every month to keep their fantasy alive. She came into the room 10 minutes later, holding a chipped mug and talking like nothing had happened. You should stay for dinner. I've got those frozen veggie patties you like. Where's the money, Mom? I didn't raise my voice. Didn't flinch. Just asked. She blinked. What money? The money for the phone. The dishwasher. The money I gave you last month for the electric. She looked almost bored. David, why are you talking like an auditor? Because I've been treating this like a relationship, and you've been treating it like an account. Her smile faded. That's not fair. No, I said. It's not. Eli came out of his room at that point, hair a mess, hoodie unzipped. What's going on? Ask your mother, I said. She's apparently been selling the shit I pay for and lying about it. Whoa, man. Chill. He sat down on the armrest like he owned the place, like we were just boys hashing something out. She probably had a reason. Yeah, I said. To get cash without telling me. Mom sighed, dramatic and practiced. I needed to cover some things. Car stuff. Groceries. Eli chipped in too. Eli nodded like that was a helpful detail. I gave $20 for gas. You mean the same gas I filled for her last week? I asked. Eli frowned. Jesus, man. Why are you being so aggressive? Because I'm done. That made the room go still. Mom shook her head. You're tired. I get it. You're always so serious. It's just stuff, David. You're acting like we robbed you. You didn't rob me. You just used me until I ran out of ways to justify it. We're family, she snapped. This is what family does. We help each other. Funny, I said. I can't remember the last time anyone here helped me. Eli scoffed. You think you're some kind of saint because you fix shit and drop cash? No, I said. I think I'm a fool for thinking that would make me matter to you. That's when she went cold. Like a switch flipped. You always were dramatic. Just like your father. So full of judgment and superiority. He walked out too, remember? Maybe it runs in your blood. I stood up. Grabbed my keys. He didn't walk out, I said. You drove him out. And now you've been draining me the same way, just quieter. She followed me to the door, voice rising. Don't do this. Don't make some scene and pretend you're the victim. I'm not the victim, I said. I'm the exit plan. Eli called after me, she just wants what's best for everyone. You're making it all about you. I turned back, once. Tell me one thing you've given me that wasn't guilt. Silence. And then Mom said, low and bitter, I should have never let you move away. You're so far gone now. Your energy's poisoned. Then be grateful I'm leaving. I walked out. Got in the truck. Didn't even look in the rear view. Just drove. Not back home. Not yet. I needed air. Time. Distance. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. Just let the quiet in and kept driving. Somewhere between towns, between who I was and who I was about to become, I realized something. This wasn't me burning bridges. This was me finally noticing they were never built on my side in the first place. I didn't go back to the city right away. Slept that night in the back of the truck near a lake I used to visit as a teenager. It was cold. Uncomfortable. But honest. I stared up at the sky through the windshield and thought about every time I said it's okay when it wasn't. Every time I handed over cash with a smile. Every time I let her talk about energy in past lives and your poor brother while I climbed under sinks and rewired light fixtures. I thought about Dad. The man I spent most of my life hating because no one ever told me the truth. Because I never let myself imagine that maybe he wasn't weak. Maybe he just ran out of ways to stay sane. Maybe he got out before they turned him into the villain I became. I spent 3 days off-grid. No calls. No texts. Just me, a cooler, the truck, and an old fishing pole I found in the back seat. I didn't catch anything. Didn't care. I just wanted to be somewhere that didn't ask me for anything. When I got back to my apartment, there were 7 missed calls from Mom. 2 from Eli. No voicemails. Just silence pressing against the edges, waiting for me to fold. I didn't. I changed my number the next morning. Switched my PayPal. Locked my Venmo. I didn't write a goodbye. I didn't block them. I just removed myself from the equation. I didn't need revenge. I needed peace. 2 weeks passed. I picked up a big job patching up an old church's foundation. Got dirt under my nails, bruises on my arms, the kind of work that hurts good. Something shifted. I started taking weekends off. Went to a second-hand bookstore. Bought socks without checking the price. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't explain. I didn't feel guilty. One day, I got a letter. Real one. Handwritten. From Mom. It said, "David, I don't know what you think happened, but I never wanted to hurt you. We just needed help. You've always been so good at surviving, I figured you could handle more. Maybe too much. Maybe that's on me. I hope you find your balance. You're still my son. Love, Mom." No apology. Just a soft rewrite of the truth. I didn't respond. I folded the letter and stuck it in the back of a drawer. Not out of sentiment, just in case I ever needed to remind myself why I left. Months passed. Eli never reached out. I heard from a neighbor that he got fired again. Something about inappropriate browsing on the work computer. I didn't laugh. Just sighed. Some people never change. One Saturday, I was installing shelving in a quiet house on the edge of town. The woman who hired me watched me work for a while, then asked, "You always work this precisely?" I nodded. "It's the only thing that holds." She smiled. "You seem calm. Like someone who's rebuilt something." I looked at the level in my hand. The wood under my fingers. The steady feel of weight distributed evenly. "Yeah," I said. "I guess I have." And that was it. No thunder. No Facebook drama. No redemption arc. Just a man who finally stopped bleeding for people who called it love. A man who picked up a wrench and started building a life where nobody asked for proof he deserved to rest. Subscribe, hit the like button, and explore more fascinating stories.